Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Crystal and this is Books for Forever After, where I sit on my floor and talk about books. Today is a very long overdue October TBR. It's been a few weeks. It's been 84 years. It feels like. Well, anyway, as you know, I work in finance, and this is the time of year where it's very ragged. Let's just say that. So my brain is running a mile a minute, and that means and hours are very long. So that leaves no time for fun. But I do have time for reading. So to begin, I'm gonna have talk about October TBR. The focus this month has been more fantasy, but paranormal fantasy with some focus on vampires and a little bit of like Gothic themes. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Alright, so I have about 12 books on my TBR. Future me already knows, because it's, future me is today. One of these I read the whole entire series, and if I can get through the rest of my TBR, that would bring my books up to 16 for the month of October. But as of right now, my official TBR is with 12 books. So, and it looks like I have a pretty even split this month between 6 physical books and about 6 ebooks. No audiobooks this month. Those are usually, if I do, I usually like to tandem read that with a physical book, or if I'm like rereading the graphic audio for, Avatar and such. So I usually don't have much luck with audiobooks. I really get distracted very easily. So otherwise, I'm just tandem reading. Okay, so the first book this month is a YA or young adult fantasy romance. Is called The Beautiful by Renee Adia. I very hope I'm saying that right. This is, I forget her name now, the main character. She's a seamstress, and she travels to New Orleans from France. So she's from Paris, France. And she travels to New Orleans to kind of, she's running away for something and getting, a better life. So she comes to New Orleans, she comes to a nunnery to live because she is a, single woman in this time period, which is, I believe, like 1700s, I want to say, in New Orleans. So it has that great Gothic themes. And she meets some people, some monster kind of like ripper situation is killing women and unaliving them. So, killing, murdering, unaliving them. So that's kind of what it is. So she meets someone called, oh gosh, what is his name? Sebastian, and and things ensue from there. So that is this one. Next book is Spellbound Lies, which is an ebook arc that I received from NetGalley, from I think the author and her publisher. I'm not exactly sure, I can't remember which one it is, but it's by Catherine Downen, and this is, the tagline is, it is a Beauty and the Beast twisted tale retelling with Jekyll and Hyde themes. I think it literally says it on here. Let me actually look. Yes. Oh, it's a twisted retelling where Jekyll and Hyde meets Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, this baby, I did not realize, is 650 pages. It's a standalone, so I guess that holds true, but it is a young adult romance. I am currently reading this one right now. I'm thinking about 40% of the way in. It's intriguing. I'm just right now starting to drag a little bit, so I'm hoping that it picks up. For so far, it has been pretty a fast paced read, but now it's starting to drag a little bit. Probably because I'm like, feels like we're taking a long time to just, I guess, do everything. So I know we'll see. There's a lot of traveling involved. For being a prisoner, there's a lot of traveling involved. All right. So Spinal Lies. It starts with just a quick premise. She is not much of a reader, so it's not really the Belle kind of thing, but she's a baker. She goes back. She caters a courting event for the prince, and she goes back later that night because she realized she lost a family heirloom, and things ensue from there where she becomes a prisoner. I say prisoner lightly because starts becoming a lot more free for being supposedly a prisoner. So yeah. The next book is Balance by Lucia Franco. This is a sports romance. It is an age gap, and the sports is gymnastics. So it's between a gymnastics athlete and her coach. It starts when she's 16, just turning 17, as she meets this gym. She apparently it's very common for athletes to live on their own more of the time. And this is where she meets what was his name? Oh gosh, Kova. So he's a Russian coach. He did win the Olympics when he was younger. So he's, I think, at the beginning of this 32. And then to the pace of the series, he turned to be 34, and she goes from 16 to 18. So first sounds a little weird. I'm just gonna say that's a little too much age gap. At least be legal. Okay. But I guess she is 17 when things happen. But it's and I guess where they live, we're in Georgia training. She wants to become an Olympic gymnast as well. There's 5 books in this series, and this is a series that Future Crystal. I know this is the TBR. I got these off of the Kindle Unlimited. They were just released. So yeah, and I sprint right through those in about a week or so, I want to say. So yeah, so this is the Balance series, or Off. I don't know what the series is called. Off Balance series. And all the books have the terms of the balance, twist, the last one is dismount, those kind of things. So this is recommended to, I got this recommendation to read by McKay from Ohay's McKay, because I know it's one of her favorites that she always talks about. And for the longest time, it actually wasn't on Kindle Unlimited, so it literally was just released a week, I want to say a week and a half ago. So as you can tell, that kind of got itself promoted up within my reading order very quickly because I heard so much about it. So I'll let you know about more into my thoughts in my wrap up, but it was very interesting, I should say. It was good, interesting. Next one is on my TBR, is a very popular one right now because the second one just was released, is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a YA fantasy. This is the spin-off series from the Caraval series, which I just finished up reading, I think, last month, as you can recall. That was a trilogy. This follows the Prince and Heart, who was a character in the Caraval series, and that is all that I know. I know there's a little bit of a premise on this one. I believe this MC is reaching out to the Prince of Hearts, to someone to help her talk, I think, her fiance that she was engaged to or something from falling in love or leaving her for somebody else or something like that. I can't exactly wrong. I probably got that totally misquoted that the whole entire premise, but I'm really looking forward to this. I believe this it was recently announced that this is going to be a trilogy as well, So I'm really looking forward to that. So I hear though that the second one has a very abrupt ending, or a cliffhanger. So I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm gonna take it easy and hopefully get to this one. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So far, I really do like her writing. It's kind of whimsical, and it does really, really win. So looking forward to that one. And then next one, I bought this one. Oh, and this one, I picked this up in a Target. I didn't realize what it was when it was first released. So just solely by the premise, by what was the summary and the dust jacket here. So and then I found out later what it was. So I'm like, okay, so that one was pretty cool to discover, and that really piqued my interest. All right, so now the Strange Grace by Tessa Gratton. This is an older release book. I actually got this, I want to say, at a Books A Million a year ago. I think it was a year ago, and it was just right after Halloween, and I feel like this has Halloween vibes, so I was like, I'm going to save you for next year in October. So here we are. So I believe this is YA. I may be wrong. Apparently this is gives the Village vibes from the movie by M. Night Shyamalan. I cannot speak. And it seems to be, it comes across that it might be a poly romance. And so very similar to the Village. There's some creature or something like that. So I believe it is a standalone, so I'm interested in reading this one. The next one is is Roseblood by A.G. Howard. And I believe this is another older one as well. And what I picked this one up in a Books A Million. And what is really, really cool about this edition is that there is red lettering. So it totally fits the Roseblood theme. So I think that is really, really cool. A really cool idea. So it has very, I don't know how that's going to be reading, but it is really, really cool looking, I think. So obviously this looks like as you can tell by the cover, it's a Phantom of the Opera retelling. This one instead, I believe she is obviously still an opera singer, and I believe singing is actually hurting her, or is taking her energy or so forth. So she gets sent to a kind of boarding school, I want to say, called Roseblood. And so, and there she meets a person called Rune, I believe, in a cemetery. She's not sure exactly if he's real or not. And they seem to get along and, fall in love a little bit, but he's afraid of his father, the Phantom. So that is by the premise on the jacket, so we'll see how that goes. And I hope to get to this one. The next one that is on my TBR that I also have kept in my Kindle Unlimited TBR for a year, because the themes of it. This is a vampire romance. Basically, these are novellas by, by Katie Robert. One second. By Katie Robert. I believe this is a trilogy, so this is called Sacrifice. I'll put one up there. And then the second one, I believe, is Air, and then the third one is Queen. So these are novellas. I believe there is basically no plot. This is basically just smut, and it is, I believe, reverse harem, or at least poly romance as well. So looking forward to reading that. Know nothing about the premise, but just because I know it's Katie Robert and I know it's vampire, so I'm like, it fits, so that'll work. So I'm gonna try to get to those three. Those three include part of my 12 number, but depending on timing, I may only get to one. I'm hoping to fly through those, especially after the 650 ebook, after I get done with this one that I'm currently reading. Alright, so the next one is Gothicana. This is another ebook that I have from Kindle Unlimited. This is by Runix. This is I believe it's a Guardian romance with Gothic themes. So another creepy mansion. So if you know me, I like Gothic themes. So, and this being Halloween month, this just really fits perfectly right in there. The next book is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I am currently reading this one. This is another vampire romance. I have read her Hades and Persephone series. I have not read Hades. The books where it's in his view. That was called. In his voice, whatever. That was released. I picked up the second one thinking it was the first one, so now I'm like waiting to pick up the first one to be able to read that. But I read the first 3 of the books in Persephone's voice, and I'm really looking forward to reading his eventually. I do know this is, I believe, supposed to have a second one being released either later this month or next month. So far it's pretty fast, but it's a lot of smut and not a lot of plot. So yeah, that's basically so far. So far it seems to be Insta Love 2, which is not very my favorite, especially for being supposedly enemies to lovers. So it follows Isolde, who is a princess, and I think it's Adrian, who is a vampire king. She has been promised to him as a wife during some negotiations with her father, the king. But yeah, so for being very enemies to lovers, it's insta love so far, but we'll see how it goes. The one thing I would do say is I do like the fact that the heron is described as being dark skinned, so we do have some representation there. So that is really kind of nice to see, because you don't really see that often in fantasy, especially. All right, and then lastly we have the X-Hex. As you can tell by my copy, I got this from when I was doing Book of the Month. This one is just gonna be a light rom-com, kind of witchy vibe, so really good for Halloween, obviously. I believe it's a witch who accidentally puts a hex on her ex. So let's say that 10 times fast. So look forward to reading that. Hopefully, I would like to, if I don't finish this one this month, I would at least like to start it on Halloween so I get the full, vibes, because I like to read with the vibes, the mood. Moody reader, as you know, being moody reader, but with at least a plan, at least. So don't know if that made any sense at all, but disregard. But yeah, that's all the books I want to read this month. So sorry this is late. But life happens. So all right, well, that is it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more content, and I will see you next time. Bye.